Boxing is a combat sport in which two people, usually wearing protective gloves, throw punches at each other for a predetermined set of time in a boxing ring. Boxing is a great workout, perhaps the most challenging of all sports. It requires speed, agility, finesse, power, endurance, and ultimate mental toughness. Boxing pushes you like no other, pitting the finest and highest level athletes against each other. It's a sweet science, but at the same time also a raw and brutal sport. More importantly, boxing takes you further than you ever thought possible. Boxing makes you more alive than ever, more humble in defeat and more glorious in victory. Boxing reveals the true fighter deep inside every single one of us. Equipment. Since boxing involves forceful, repetitive punching, precautions must be taken to prevent damage to bones in the hand. Most trainers do not allow boxers to train and spar without wrist wraps and boxing gloves. Hand wraps are used to secure the bones in the hand, and the gloves are used to protect the hands from blunt injury, allowing boxers to throw punches with more force than if they did not utilize them. Gloves have been required in competition since the late 19th century, though modern boxing gloves are much heavier than those worn by early 20th century fighters. Prior to a bout, both boxers agree upon the weight of the gloves to be used in the bout, with the understanding that lighter gloves allow heavy punches to inflict more damage. The brand of gloves can also affect the impact of punches, so this too is usually stipulated before a bout. Both sides are allowed to inspect the wraps and gloves of the opponent to help ensure both are within agreed upon specifications and no tampering has taken place. A mouth guard is important to protect the teeth and gums from injury and to cushion the jaw, resulting in a decreased chance of knockouts. Both fighters must wear soft-soled shoes to reduce the damage from accidental or intentional stepping on feet. While older boxing boots more commonly resemble those of a professional wrestler, modern boxing shoes and boots tend to be quite similar to their amateur wrestling counterparts. Boxers practice their skills on two basic types of punching bags. A small teardrop-shaped speed bag is used to hone reflexes and repetitive punching skills, while a large cylindrical heavy bag filled with sand, a synthetic substitute or water, is used to practice power punching and body blows. In addition to these distinctive pieces of equipment, boxers also utilize sport non-specific training equipment to build strength, speed, agility, and stamina. Common training equipment includes free weights, rowing machines, jump rope, and medicine balls. Boxing matches typically takes place in a boxing ring, a raised platform surrounded by ropes attached to posts rising in each corner. The term ring has come to be used as a metaphor for many aspects of prize fighting in general. Technique. Boxing styles and technique. Stance. The modern boxing stance differs substantially from the typical boxing stances of the 19th and early 20th centuries. The modern stance has a more upright vertical armed guard as opposed to the more horizontal knuckles-facing forward guard adopted by the early 20th century hook users such as Jack Johnson. Upright stance, semi-crouch, full crouch. In a fully upright stance, the boxer stands with the legs shoulders width apart and the rear foot a half step in front of the lead man. Right-handed orthodox boxers lead with the left foot and fist. Both feet are parallel and the right heel is off the ground. The lead fist is held vertically about 6 inches in front of the face at eye level. The rear or the right fist is held beside the chin and the elbow tucked inside the ribcage to protect the body. The chin is tucked into the chest to avoid punches to the jaw, which commonly cause knockouts and is often kept slightly off-center. Wrists are slightly bent to avoid damage when punching, and the elbows are kept tucked in to protect the ribcage. Some boxers fight from a crouch, leaning forward and keeping the feet closer together. The stance described is considered the textbook stance, and the fighters are encouraged to change it around once it's been mastered as a base. Case in point, many fast fighters have their hands down and have almost exaggerated footwork, while brawlers or bully fighters tend to slowly stalk their opponents. Punches. There are 4 basic punches in boxing: the jab, cross, hook, and uppercut. Any punch other than a jab is considered a power punch. If a boxer is right-handed orthodox, his left hand is the lead hand and his right hand is the rear hand. For a left-handed boxer or southpaw, the hand positions are reversed. For clarity, the following discussion will assume a right-handed boxer. Jab. A quick, straight punch thrown with the lead hand from the guard position. The jab is accompanied by a small clockwise rotation of the torso and hips, while the fist rotates 90 degrees, becoming horizontal upon impact. As the punch reaches full extension, the lead shoulder can be brought up to guard the chin. The rear hand remains next to the face to guard the jaw. After making contact with the target, the lead hand is retracted quickly to resume a guard position in front of the face. Cross. A powerful straight punch thrown with the rear hand. From the guard position, the rear hand is thrown from the chin, crossing the body and traveling towards the target in a straight line. The rear shoulder is thrust forward and finishes just touching the outside of the chin. At the same time, the lead hand is retracted and tucked against the face to protect the inside of the chin. For additional power, the torso and hips are rotated counterclockwise as the cross is thrown. A measure of an ideally extended cross is that the shoulder of the striking arm, the knee of the front leg, and the ball of the front foot are on the same vertical plane. Hook. A semicircular punch thrown with the lead hand to the side of the opponent's head. From the guard position, the elbow is drawn back with a horizontal fist, palm facing down, though in modern times a wide percentage of fighters throw the hook with a vertical fist, palm facing themselves. The rear hand is tucked firmly against the jaw to protect the chin. The torso and hips are rotated clockwise, propelling the fist through a tight, clockwise arc across the front of the body and connecting with the target. Uppercut. A vertical rising punch thrown with the rear hand. From the guard position, the torso shifts slightly to the right, the rear hand drops below the left of the opponent's chest, and the knees are bent slightly. From this position, the rear hand is thrust upwards in a rising arc towards the opponent's chin or torso. These different punch types can be thrown in rapid succession to form combinations or combos. The most common is the jab and cross combination, nicknamed the 1-2 combo. This is usually an effective combination because the jab blocks the opponent's view of the cross, making it easier to land cleanly and forcefully. Defense. There are several basic maneuvers a boxer can use in order to evade or block punches depicted and discussed below. Slipping, bobbing, blocking with arms, cover up with the gloves, clinching, footwork, pulling away, slip. Slipping rotates the body slightly so that an incoming punch passes harmlessly next to the head. As the opponent's punch arrives, the boxer sharply rotates the hips and shoulders. This turns the chin sideways and allows the punch to slip past. Muhammad Ali was famous for extremely fast and close slips, as was an early Mike Tyson. Sway or fade. To anticipate a punch and move the upper body or head back so that misses or has its force appreciably lessened. Also called rolling with the punch or riding the punch. Duck or break. To drop down with the back straight so that a punch aimed at the head glances or misses entirely. Bob and weave. Bobbing moves the head laterally and beneath an incoming punch. As the opponent's punch arrives, the boxer bends the legs quickly and simultaneously shifts the body either slightly right or left. Once the punch has been evaded, the boxer weaves back to an upright position, emerging on either the outside or inside of the opponent's still extended arm. To move outside the opponent's extended arm is called bobbing to the outside. To move inside the opponent's extended arm is called bobbing to the inside. Joe Frazier, Jack Dempsey, Mike Tyson, and Rocky Marciano were masters of bobbing and weaving. Parry or block. Parrying or blocking uses the boxer's shoulders, hands, arms as defensive tools to protect against incoming attacks. A block generally receives a punch while a parry tends to deflect it. A palm, catch or cuff is a defense which intentionally takes the incoming punch on the palm portion of the defender's gloves. The cover-up. Covering up is the last opportunity, other than rolling with a punch, to avoid an incoming strike to an unprotected face or body. Generally speaking, the hands are held high to protect the head and chin, and the forearms are tucked against the torso to impede body shots. When protecting the body, the boxer rotates the hips and lets incoming punches roll off the guard. To protect the head, the boxer presses both fists against the front of the face, with the forearms parallel and facing outwards. This type of guard is weak against attacks from below. The clinch. Clinching is a form of trapping or a rough form of grappling and occurs when the distance between both fighters is closed and straight punches cannot be employed. In this situation, the boxer attempts to hold or tie up the opponent's hands so he is unable to throw hooks or uppercuts. To perform a clinch, the boxer loops both hands around the outside of the opponent's shoulders, scooping back under the forearms to grasp the opponent's arms tightly against his own body. In this position, the opponent's arms are pinned and cannot be used to attack. Clinching is a temporary match state and is quickly dissipated by the referee. Clinching is technically against the rules, and in amateur fight, points are deducted fairly quickly for it. It is unlikely, however, to see points deducted for the clinch in a professional boxing. Ring corner. In boxing, each fighter is given a corner of the ring where he rests in between rounds for 1 minute and where his trainers stand. Typically, 3 men stand in the corner beside the boxer himself. These are the trainer, the assistant trainer, and the cut man. The trainer and assistant typically give advice to the boxer on what he's doing wrong as well as encouraging him if he's losing. The cut man is a cutaneous doctor responsible for keeping the boxer's face and eyes free of cuts and bloods. This is of particular importance because many fights are stopped because of cuts that threaten the boxer's eyes. In addition, the corner is responsible for stopping the fight if they feel their fighter is in grave danger of permanent injury. The corner will occasionally throw in a white towel to signify a boxer's surrender. The idiomatic phrase "to throw in the towel," meaning to give up, derives from this practice. Boxer's diet. The importance of a good diet. For boxers, as with any sport, a good diet is a crucial part of staying in shape and keeping up with the demands of the training regime. Boxers need to eat well in order to maintain muscle strength and energy in the ring and avoid feeling tired and sluggish partway through a fight. Boxers use punches, jabs, speed and flexibility requiring strength, endurance and energy to defeat their opponent. As a result, they require a nutritious diet which will provide high levels of energy to last throughout the duration of a fight. Unlike most other sports, whilst the boxer needs muscle and power behind them, they are conditioned by the weight restrictions of their weight class. Boxers seek to be at the top end of their weight boundaries to maximize strength and energy, so it is crucial that they have the right diet to ensure they have enough energy to undertake fights and intensive training sessions, while staying with the limitations of their weight class. Most boxers aim to stay within 3 to 5% of their ideal fighting weight during the training in order to avoid having to lose weight drastically as a fight approaches, as dramatic crash diets before a fight can result in reduced level of performance. What to eat. A boxer's diet should be drawn up according to the recommended ratios of particular foodstuffs. Carbohydrates, protein and fats are all crucial for providing the energy and nutrition a boxer needs. Carbohydrates. Boxing is an anaerobic activity which requires professional boxers to maintain high energy levels for 12 intensive 3-minute rounds. A boxer's intention should be to eat foods which will provide the correct strength, power and weight ratio which is best maintained by sources of high energy and low fat content. For this reason, carbohydrates are the ideal foodstuffs for boxers, slowly releasing energy for a sustained period of time, replacing lost glycogen stores and increasing stamina during fights and training. Some carbohydrates, particularly processed carbohydrates which are derived from white flour such as white bread and pasta, contain calories that are less useful given their low nutritional value. Instead, boxers should eat natural carbohydrates such as yams, beans, whole wheat grain, fruits and oatmeal, which are packed full of useful nutrients. Because carbohydrates are such effective sources of energy, boxers should eat more of them than any other foodstuff. Dietitians recommend that 45 to 55% of boxers' diet should be made up of carbohydrates. For example, out of a daily diet that consists of 4,000 calories, 1,800 to 2,200 calories of those should be derived from carbohydrates, roughly equating to 550 grams in weight. Protein. Boxers often experience small tears in their muscles after a fight, causing them to feel tired and sore, so it is crucial that enough protein is included in their diet. Protein works to repair muscles and increase muscle growth, preventing long-lasting damage, but it also acts as a further energy source, preventing the body from using its much-valued muscle for energy. Chicken, tuna, eggs and lean beef are all good sources of protein, as are protein drinks, such as Accelerate or Rapid Recovery, although these should only be taken by those engaged in a serious and intensive training routine. For concentrated muscle increase, boxers should consume a protein drink during training sessions and another shake immediately after training. Dietitians recommend that protein should make up to 30 to 40% of boxers' daily diet. Fats. Whilst excessive fat consumption can cause unwanted weight gain and should be avoided, boxers do need some fats to maintain important internal bodily functions. Omega-3 and omega-6 fats, also known as essential fats or fatty acids, are both needed for the production of prostaglandins, a type of hormone which keeps the body in working order. Seafood or walnuts are ideal sources of omega fat, or alternatively flaxseed oil or cod liver oil can be taken as healthy supplements which are purified of the contaminants often found in fish. The body also needs monosaturated fats which are found in foods such as olives, seeds and avocado. Dietitians recommend that boxers should ensure that 15% of their daily diet is made up of essential and monosaturated fats. Good fats absorb certain vitamins essential for a healthy body, so keeping fat intake to lower than 15% is likely only to have a harmful effect. Water. Water is essential for staying healthy and energized, particularly in a strenuous sport such as boxing, where it is easy to become dehydrated. Boxers should ensure that 8 to 10 glasses of water are included in their daily diet, increasing their water consumption during a fight. A boxing diet must consist of following percentage of various diets: carbohydrates 45 to 55%, protein 30 to 40%, fats 15%. What not to eat? The following foods are all high in fat and sugar content, and although they may provide the boxer with high bursts of energy, they are short-lasting energy sources and will cause the boxer to feel tired, sluggish, and to put on unwanted weight. For this reason, they should be avoided as far as possible. Fried foods. Fast food, takeaways, food high in sugar, example sweets and fizzy drinks, saturated fat, processed food. Off-season diets. During the period when a boxer is not fighting or in pre-fight training, their diet will need to change slightly to accommodate the less intensive training schedule. Dietitians usually recommend that during the off-season period, boxers should maintain a daily ratio of 60% carbohydrates, 20% protein, and 20% fat. Pre-fight diet. The food a boxer eats just before their fight is crucial for their performance in the ring. In order to delay feelings of tiredness during a fight, boxers must eat food that will provide energy, be easily digested, and maintain blood sugar levels during the fight. Dietitians recommend that boxers eat increasingly smaller meals as a fight gets closer, sticking to lighter starchy foods such as brown bread, sandwiches, fruit, and cereals. Most vegetables, beans, and bulky fruits should be avoided, as these can cause diarrhea, particularly when the boxer is nervous, and similarly, cabbage and dry beans can be bad given their gas-forming potential. Boxers should never eat new foods just before a fight to avoid the risk of bad reaction. They should drink 400 to 600 milliliters of water 2 to 3 hours before the fight to maintain hydration, although drinking too much just before a ring could have an adverse reaction. Post-fight diet. The main intent of a post-fight diet is to help the body recover from a fight as effectively as possible by restoring glycogen levels, preventing the body from consuming its own muscle mass for energy. Immediately after a fight, the boxer should eat food which is high in protein and carbohydrates and low in fiber, and consume low-fiber drinks, eating a similar meal every 2 hours for the following 2 hours. The recovery meal is even more effective if it is liquidized, aiding digestion. Combination of protein and carbohydrates aids the repair of muscle tissues, speeding up the period of recovery before a boxer can return to intensive training. Once 6 hours have passed after the fight, the boxer should return to their ordinary diet. General dietary tips. Do's. Eat 5 or 6 meals every day. Space meals out at regular intervals. Dietitians recommend that boxers eat every 3 or 4 hours to keep insulin to the optimum level. Eat as much nutritional food as possible. Food such as fruit, vegetables, brown rice, and pasta contains lots of useful vitamins, minerals, and fiber, which allow the body to function as effectively as possible. Dietitians recommend that 25 to 35 grams of a boxer's daily intake should be classified as a high fiber. Eat plenty of starchy foods such as whole grain cereal, wheat, pasta, and yams to maintain optimum health and energy levels. Ensure consumption of recommended amount of healthy fat and take supplements if necessary. Ensure consumption of recommended amount of healthy fat and take supplements if necessary. Eat a good variety of foods to ensure the body gets as many nutrients as possible whilst maintaining the correct ratio of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Take multivitamins regularly to ensure the body is receiving all necessary vitamins for maximum performance. Eat a light snack before bed, such as a piece of wholemeal toast, but avoid eating too much as sleep may be inhibited. Drink plenty of water to avoid dehydration. Don't eat carbohydrates before bed, as the body will not burn them off while sleeping. Have good days and bad days. Boxers should be in good health leading up to fights and between fights to maximize training potential and performance in a fight. Binge eating and crash diets should be avoided at all times, as these will affect health and cause poor weight control. Eat sugary substances such as chocolate, sweets, and cakes, as this will have a negative effect on the body's performance. Do not drink sugary water-based drinks such as carbonated drinks or cordials.